is Tyler VanMieghem. For a living, I and my wife Jennifer own a Dairy Queen, 2 Dairy Queens. We started 25 years ago with our first store and bought a second store in Brownsburg, Indiana in 2006. One of the first things you see is the big Dairy Queen sign lit up. I'm glad it's there, and it's held for 6 years now. It's about 5-6 years ago that we put it up, and some near straight line winds have come through, and it hasn't knocked it over yet. So I didn't screw up. There's 40 acres right now. Soybeans are planted, so it just makes sense to call it that. It's 100 acres of woods and then 40 acres of farmland, and about 15 acres of grass that I have to mow every week. It is exactly what we were looking for. My brother Tim and sister Karen and my mother and father Dennis and Jackie we were just brainstorming about possibly doing some type of vacation home where the whole family could come and spend time, be together, and continue those times from childhood. We always had at my parents' house. Their house has always been kind of an oasis for the whole family to come to, and the farm here was just an extension of that. Well, a little bit of background on why I do most of the caretaking and improvements in the house. Dad's a CPA, my brother's a CPA, my sister's a CPA, and that left Mom and I to kind of, our interests were more working with our hands, working with our minds too, obviously, but we enjoy working with our hands. I enjoy it. Tim and Karen, Dad, not as much. They don't hate it, but I actually look forward to it and love being creative with it. I remember on my class ring for high school at Maine South in Chicago, Park Ridge, a good friend got probably a hockey playing symbol on the side of his ring. Most of them got football or basketball or different things. Mine was 2 deer. So when I saw that in the ring book, I'm like, oh, well, that's me right there. And it was even when I was 18. The biggest project that I've ever had here was the cabin in the woods, and it's over a cliff, not quite a cliff, but a very steep drop off of about 75 feet down to a small creek below it, and it's a really pretty view. And it was, at times precarious to build it, but I guess the process of building it, I made drawings for it, but pretty much I had it in my head completely for the posts, the decking, and then the framing, and each step. Just give it a lot of thought beforehand on how, it's not like I had a lot of training for construction, but I had some. Some things like I'd never done a roof before, but figured it out, and made drawings, and then, researched things a little bit. But it took probably 4 or 5 months to build a cabin, and building the materials out there logistically was just a hassle because I couldn't get back there with my truck. I had to lash everything to ATVs, and the Kawasaki mule, I had to lash all the wood to the top of it. And just that logistics was hard, but it was I was working in the middle of the woods, so at no point did it feel like a job. Each of the projects that I've done, whether that's the staircase down to the beach on the creek, as soon as we found out that property was ours, I immediately made a staircase down to it, which made it accessible. That was the only way you can get to it. Digging posts while standing with one foot at your shoulder level and the other foot, down the side of the slope, just to brace myself with a post hole digger, and making, I think 6 deep post holes to be able to take the staircase as it came up. It was a tough one. Anytime back when Mom was alive, she always had a very high standard, and she taught that to me. And when you're having, family, friends over, you do your best to make sure that it's in good condition, clean, accommodating. The family's always been very close, and having a place like this has facilitated that. And anytime, that I improve the bedrooms, add another bedroom, make it so we could sleep another family, and get more people together, it's just more fun. So that's what I picture whenever when I enclosed the porch downstairs and made it another hangout room. When I was building it, I just pictured people using it. When I built the 20 by 20 deck out there off the kitchen, I pictured cousins dancing on it. Yeah, I mean, it's always been with a picture of just how you guys will use it. And I know that, if I make the trail, you guys will run it with the ATVs. If I make it a way till we get down to the beach, heck, we've had 3 or 4 just really fun parties sitting in the creek on hot summer days with coolers and chairs, and you just pull the ATVs right up to the top of the stairs, and you can bring down all the chairs and umbrellas and coolers, and it's easy. Before, it would have been impossible. Each and every project, I just picture how it's going to be used. The important thing is that they bought this place for us, and it will continue on to the next generation, and hopefully the next generation and the next generation. And I'm very grateful to them for doing that. The younger generation talk about the farm, and they love it almost as much as I do. One thing they love everybody bit as much as that I do is the oasis aspect of it, and that you can just come here and just be. That was Mom and Dad's goal, and that's my goal, and I think it will be maintained. And it's nice to come to a place where work is, rewarding and self-rewarding, and fun to do. And that's the way I've always looked at it.